Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to this edition of the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm your host, Alex Whiteley, and joined with me is my beautiful co-host, Shane Hinton.
Hey.
How's it going, buddy? You okay?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, so today we're going to be bringing an episode where it was a while ago, actually. We've had a bit of a build-up in our scheduling, so I've put the interviews together. I just thought I'd get you here just to explain what we did at the Shrewsbury Open Arts Studio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was on the 15th of June. It was a really cool day. Like we were supposed to do the Sabrina
Yes,
boat.
yeah.
Well, it was that day, and it was like,
And then the river flooded.
we had all that rain and the river flooded, and so I thought, and I didn't think we were going to have a show to bring that week, and so I kind of messaged them, and I was kind of like, I've got nothing to do, and it was the night before, that somebody was like, can you cover this? We can turn up tomorrow, participate, and set up, and I was like, that'd be amazing. So I turned up at Participate on the 15th.
That's in Riverside, isn't it?
That's in the Riverside Mall in town. Great place, by the way. Make sure you pop in there. If you like your art, even if you don't, like if you're just bored, if you're trying to kill some time, just go and have a wander around there if it's open. It's really good. I turned up there and people were none the wiser as who I was and what I was doing.
Like, who are you?
Who are you exactly? Yeah. They kind of remember me. I mean, I think it was our third episode. I think we did a bit there.
That was with Rebecca.
Becky Riddick.
Becky, yeah. Becky Riddick.
I liked her work because she did a lot of paintings from the Dana and things like that. So I was drawn to it. She did email
she
me.
did the Amy Winehouse one, didn't she?
She did the Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, that's right.
Amy Winehouse piece. It was really good. Good memory, by the way.
I know. I've plucked that out somewhere. Not quite sure how.
But yeah, we did that, and I turned up, and I was like, I need space. I need a table. I need power. Let's
need
go,
coffee.
honey.
Were you basically like Iron Man, like when he's ordering all these bits in the start of Iron Man in the cave? He's like, I need a smelting pot. I need this. I need this.
I think they looked at it like that. Yeah. And there was a lady called Tat Effby. She does Round the Bend, the comic strip in My Shrewsbury. She also does lots of other bits. She's an amazing lady, and she had this big long table. And she's like, "I'll scooch up if you like." So she did. She budged up, and I was sat on this long table. She had her Round the Bend things and all her artwork around her, and I was sat there with my podcast. They had to get me an extension lead and kind of tape it to the floor and run it over the wall, and it was crazy. They were so accommodating, and I got coffee thrown at me. It was good, not thrown at me.
I was just thrown at you.
I think swore then, but no, there was so. My point being is they were so accommodating, and I met so many great people as well. And I just sat there for a couple of hours, and at first it was kind of awkward because if anybody listens to the Biscuit, you'll know like I can be quite socially awkward sometimes. You know, as when people
No comment.
She knows.
I know.
So like when people are like, because the idea of the Shrewsbury Open Studios was to witness kind of artists kind of in their domain. You know, they're kind of working away. There was Ivan Allen who was making things out of cardboard, and it sounds really like he was making this giant Aztec style temple out of bits of cardboard that he was stacking on top of each other, and eventually he'll go to cement it all, and it will look like an Aztec temple. It's amazing. And you had loads of people just cracking on with their work. You had Tat next to me. She was working on a tablet drawing Robin Hood's like sketch thing she was doing, and it was great, but I didn't want to disturb people, so I didn't want to be like excuse me, pen down. You want to be on my podcast? What's a podcast? I didn't want to do that.
Who are you?
So, but I managed to get a good chat with Tat, with Ivan. I did a little chat with a guy called Phil Evans as well. He's working with Ruben Armada, and they're doing a big War of the Worlds thing. But I really want to get them on to do a long chat because I spoke to him for like 5 minutes, and it didn't do it justice. So I didn't include the interview in that because it was just like it was more like a hi, yeah, War of the Worlds, yeah, goodbye. I want to cover that in depth, so I want to get them on properly. And I spoke to Emily Wilkinson from Raven Studios, she's a lovely lady. I'm speaking to her all week actually because we are trying to sort out some studio space in town. And with Raven Studios, they've got like spare space and stuff. They've just opened up there, and it's great because it shows that there's creativity in art kind of it's growing. There was a while, obviously with the Riverside people, they don't know what to do with it yet. You know, it's just this relic of a building that's kind of like
it's like a shell now, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's
so like the guys that participate were kind of like, oh, we don't know what the future is. We don't know where we're going to be. We might need to move and everything. But instead of like kind of shrinking into a ball or whatever, they've kind of grown, and now they've got Raven Studios and things like that. So it shows that and they've got the old TJ Hughes as you come down the escalators there. They've opened that to like an environmental centre as well. Like so, it's growing at a good rate as well. So it shows the interest is there for art, and this is what I wanted to do. Tat, I feel like we had a really good chat. She's got such a great sense of humour, and I feel like we could chat forever, me and her. So I do want to get her on because it was quite cool actually. Because the guy from, as I went to, I got this that My Shrewsbury thing we got signed.
Yes.
I went to Shrewsbury Framing Studio to get that framed. Thank you very much to them guys as well for doing that. And also with that, the auction will be announced soon. I know it's taken a while, but these things I want to do carefully. Anyway, it was him that actually introduced me to Tat, and when I sat next to her, I was kind of like, I know you from there. And another example of Shrewsbury being awesome.
Yeah.
I got to speak to Ivan, and I was like, these things that he made. There's pictures on our Facebook if you scroll down, and there's some things that just look like they're made out of stone, and then you pick them up and they're really light because they're made out of cardboard, and it makes like cardboard cement and things. It was really good. And Emily's a poet, and I got to talk to her about what they do at Raven Studios and stuff. So just an insight as what is going on artistically, I guess, in town. That's what this episode's going to be. But yeah, the Shrewsbury Biscuit is doing really well. I think next week we've got the Mayor, Phil Gillam, coming around. We've got the Mayor coming on our show. I'm looking forward to speaking to him. And I feel like there's a great potential there with the show.
Yes. Yeah.
And we've been talking about moving into a studio space. There's potential there for maybe working with some sponsors if people
sponsors.
Yeah, we've thrown up this idea, weren't we? About maybe seeing if people wanted to sponsor episodes. Chuck 20 quid in the GoFundMe. I don't know how it's going to work, but
prices to be negotiated. But yeah, essentially, I think the basic. This is just off the cuff, by the way. There's nothing written down or anything, is there? Yeah. But like, I think the basic dynamic would be like, if you put X amount of money towards a biscuit as like a donation, I guess, and then we'll give you a shout out. With content again to be arranged. And then
I'm a whiz at kind of putting like adverts together. I did a couple at the beginning of the Shrewsbury Biscuit, and if you remember, I made my friend
a kindling one, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I played fire crackling in the background and some. And there's one I did for Chef Sophie as well. The guys that make waffles in town. Brilliant place. And I made they were doing a beer tasting thing, and I just played some French music in the background. And I was like, mon chéri. I didn't do that, but I put like an advert together. We can do stuff like that. And if you want to get involved with what's going on with the biscuit and let people all around the world listen to what you've got to offer, then we can sort something out. So get in touch.
I mean that is another point as well. We're getting listeners all around Europe, Russia,
America, France.
So this isn't just, although this is a very local community podcast, we're reaching all across the world. So if you've got a business, big or small, and you want a relatively cheap little bit of plug, a little bit of marketing, drop the page a message, or me or Al, direct, doesn't matter. Drop us a message or an email, and we can have a chat and see what we can do for you.
Yeah, even if it's just an event you've got coming up, and the money that we make is going to go straight back into the biscuit. So, we're never going to make enough money to kind of live off. We're not going to walk around with monocles and top hats and being like, I do the Shrewsbury Biscuit. Rolling around in Bentleys. No, it's going to go back into the biscuit. So, I want to get, there's a really brilliant microphone I want to get so we can go on the road and do like professional sound. The Tascam's great, but I want to sound like this on the road.
Yeah,
and we can do. There's no reason why we can't. And so, we want to get the studio space and we want to put up big posters. My idea was to hire a jumbo jet, fly it over Shrewsbury and just fill it with leaflets and just open the Bombay doors and just...
Yeah, I don't think we can afford that, mate.
And we get done for littering and people are like, the Shrewsbury Biscuit.
End of the biscuit.
Yeah. So I just want to paint our name everywhere, let people know, because we've been talking to people about the more we put into the biscuit and the more people listen to it, the more beneficial it is to the town, because we this is for Shrewsbury. We don't do this for any other reason than to give Shrewsbury a bit of a boost. And you know what? There's so much going on here that we can do this forever and not run out of things to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyway, back to this episode. Shrewsbury Open Studios, thank you so much to the guys that Participate and Raven Studios for being so accommodating. You know, it was a really great experience. You know me, I like talking to creators and things like that. And as well, some of the episodes are very short, that, you know, less than 10 minutes, some of them. Because it was one of those environments where I didn't want to disturb people from their work, you know.
Yeah.
And it was like we were sat in this really echoey building. There's lots of noise going on.
It's a bit like trying to interview someone in an exam.
Yeah. And it was the day of the carnival as well. So as soon as the carnival started, it just emptied. The whole like Riverside just emptied. It was so eerie. But yeah, it was really good. So you know, that's what's coming up. First, you're going to hear Tat Effby, then Ivan, and then you're going to hear Emily. And thank you to those guys for joining us for that. Have we got anything to shout out? I can't remember if we have. But Phil Gillam's coming on. The mayor's coming on next week. So make sure.
He seems like a pretty sound guy.
Yeah, well, he's been very supportive of the show from the beginning. Really, I mean.
Yeah, that's right. Because you had a coffee with him, didn't you? If I remember right.
And he was curious about what it was we were doing and how far I wanted to take it and what it is we actually do. And he's actually been really supportive. So we're going to give him support. And he's got like a Beatles weekend thing coming up in September. So I want to hear more about that and more what it's like to be a mayor, to be honest. I mean, I know you were saying like, oh, what is a mayor and what do they do?
Yeah,
so we're going to find out. So yeah,
stay tuned,
guys. Hope you enjoy this episode. If you, I'm going to leave it just run out at the end. So if you have anything you'd like to add to our show, make sure you drop us an email. Our email address is shrewsburybiscuitpodcast@gmail.com. You can find message us on Facebook.
Yeah,
find us on Twitter and Instagram and all that malarkey.
The whole shebang.
Whole shebang. So, guys, I hope you enjoy this, and I'll catch you guys next week with the mayor.
The mayor. The mayor.
The mayor. Right. Peace out, guys.
Peace out.
Thank you. So thank you for sitting with me on the Shrewsbury Biscuit.
Thanks for having me. I didn't have much choice, seeing as you're sat about 2 inches away.
I know, and you were very kindly offered. I walked in here. This was all arranged like maybe 7 o'clock last night. I was kind of like, we were supposed to be on the Sabrina boat today, and the river's like, ridiculous level, so that I couldn't do that today. So rather than doing nothing, I thought, put the word out there, and here we are today.
Here we are at Participate.
Participate, one of my favourite places, and it's fantastic. What's going on here today then?
This is part of Shrewsbury Open Studios.
Just put the mic closer to you. Sorry.
Should I do it again?
No, it's fine. Yeah, keep going.
So it's part of Shrewsbury Open Studios, and I'm here. Got a couple of walls with my cartoon prints on, and behind me, Karen's got a wall with her beautiful bird prints on.
They are beautiful.
Because we don't have studios that people can come and visit, we're either too antisocial or we live too far out in the sticks. We've come into town to get some wall space and show people our art. Now I'm going to do my art in inverted commas. There we go.
Your art is fantastic. I got introduced to you. It was from the Shrewsbury Framing Studio up on Frankwell. And I popped up there because we've got the My Shrewsbury thing that's been signed by all the company. He was like, "Oh, you're my friend Tat Effby. She's got all these," and she showed me your cards, and fantastic. And what are you responsible for? Tell our listeners what you're responsible for, because you know more about it than I do.
Are you talking about what terrible things I've done in my life, or are you talking about the artworks? I'll talk about the artworks rather than the terrible things I've done.
Well, yeah.
I am responsible for a cartoon series based in Shrewsbury. It's based on the ducks on the river, and that's called Round the Bend, so people might know that from My Shrewsbury magazine, because that's in there. And I also have a series of cartoon prints up here on the wall, and I post a lot on Instagram and Facebook and things like that. And I have had a series in Private Eye called Back in My Day.
Fantastic. And what brings you here today then? You just want to Like
I just want to connect with my public, you know.
Yeah, just want to speak
Nice
to the
give
fans.
back because, you know, often we sit in our ivory towers, don't we artists? And I just think sometimes it's really important to see how real people live.
And
But that was a joke, by the way.
I think we'll get that though. It's nice, isn't it, just to get out here and just to see, because I mean, there's a few people that have come up to your table now. I've been having a look around, and
no, it's nice to meet people, but particularly because I have the cartoon series that's local. So there's kind of a reference point, you know, you hear a lot of people chuckling when they sort of see my jokes about the place they live. So that's really nice to actually have conversations with people.
I think it's really important to get out there and to show people that, you know, you're people too. You know, these things don't just miraculously appear into magazines and newspapers and things. There's lots of things going on about today. Is there anything here that's caught your eye? Do you know these people, or are these ordinary?
I don't know these people. I was lucky enough to meet everyone last weekend when we did our first weekend, but there's some amazing stuff. There's some cardboard sculptures over here which you would not know were made out of recycled cardboard.
They're amazing.
Stunning.
Yeah.
So definitely come down if you can this weekend and look around, and there's some beautiful artworks on the wall. I mean, one of the biggest problems is when you're an exhibiting artist is you end up just looking at other people's going, oh, I think I really like that one, and you make no money and you actually come away with lots of lovely art but slightly out of pocket.
When did this all start for you, all this?
Ooh, well, the cartooning probably started about 5 years ago. I used to be an advertising creative and I stopped working in advertising because I wanted to do something completely different. And I was a writer, and I decided that actually I wanted to pick up my pencil again because I hadn't done that since I was at school. And I just started drawing, and I had no desire, inkling that I would become a cartoonist. But that's actually just how things kind of fell off my pen and onto the page. They started to turn into jokes.
Yeah.
And so I picked it up and ran with it, as it were, or swam with it.
They're pretty good. I really do like them. Like when I was younger, I had an obsession with Garfield. I used to buy the books and things, and if I saw him in the newspaper or something like that, you know, I used to really like. Where were your inspirations come from to do these these little comics?
Oh, anything really. I mean, with the Round the Bend, which is obviously ducks and swans and whatever on the river. I mean, I literally walk into town and I see the river and see what the ducks are doing and imagine them saying something. So that's that's a fairly obvious inspiration for those. But for the kind of slightly random other cartoons I do, I mean, it could be anything. I mean, I do love a pun. I don't really believe in a bad pun. I think pun is a pun and it's probably good. In fact, the worst, you know, if someone says that pun's awful, I actually think that makes it a better pun.
Yeah, because, you know, totally agree. We talk about this on the show all the time. Pun away. That's what I say. Just go for it, because I love nothing more than a dad joke or a pun. You know, you just go for it. When did this start then? The Round the Bend thing. Where did you first start publishing it?
It started. When did I do it? About 3 years ago or something like that. I wanted to do something local. It was going to go in the local paper, but they didn't have any money to do it at the time. You know, it was space, I think, was the thing, because obviously actual print media is literally shrinking, isn't it? You know, there's less and less pages to print things on. So
because of schmucks like me, that's kind of like, oh, listen to things rather than read them.
You digital.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was just a Facebook thing after that. But then My Shrewsbury magazine started up, and I got in touch with Katie, the editor.
She's great, isn't she?
Completely amazing.
She's amazing.
So it's all actually led from that, because that was my first cartoons in print, and then I got stuff in The Guardian, and then I kept on going, and then I got stuff in Private Eye. So it really all started, like print-wise, from getting a little bit of traction.
So working for a big place like Private Eye and The Guardian, is that working for a local kind of small, relatively, compared to magazine? Which one's better for you? Which one do you prefer? I mean, obviously the money's great, but I mean...
It's really not. Well, there's no difference in the output, really. You still have to draw a picture, and I mean, obviously you get more exposure if you're in a national, but actually it doesn't make any difference to me. I think as long as the joke's funny, it doesn't really matter. And as long as people are seeing it, I don't care I don't care if it's in the paper or a magazine, or if I just get a like on Facebook or Instagram. It's just lovely that, something that you thought is funny resonates with someone else.
Yeah, and what's the feedback like?
Brilliant.
Yeah?
I get so many nice comments, and actually also being here, I've had, very nice things said, so it doesn't do the ego any harm.
I feel like we could do some cheerleaders here or something just to entice people in. Like, come on in and look.
Yeah, well, we've got Karen in the window doing some lino cutting. I think she should probably slip her top off. Really encourage people in.
I think I might just do
that last weekend, and she wasn't having it.
No, we'll try and get some in-window attraction. We'll put Amsterdam to shame. But yeah, we're literally sat and we can see people walking by doing their shopping at the Riverside. And we've got the carnival coming through as well. Are you looking forward to that, you say?
I'm looking forward to that. My son's dancing in that with the Casey Dance Centre, so I'm going to go down and try and spot a small boy in a ginger fright wig, and that'll be nice.
That's when the news starts.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sitting with me. I'm going to be here all day. I mean, if you feel like you got anything else we can just chat about, I'll be here for a couple more hours, I guess. And it's been brilliant. So where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm at Tat_Effby. And search Facebook for Tat Effby, and that's Effby spelled EFFBY.
Thank you very much for joining me. Make sure you check it out. Local artists going out there doing their thing, and it really is quite fun as well. So make sure you check it out. Thank you for sitting with me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going? Welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit. Thank you for sitting with me. We're currently sat in Participate, the open arts gallery in town. Would you like to introduce yourself to my listeners?
Yes, my name's Ivan Allen. I'm an artist here at Participate. I rent studio workspace here. I've been here for about 3 years now.
Yeah?
Working away, doing things.
Amazing things. I can see your things all around me, and they're brilliant.
Thank you.
Do you want to explain to people what you do? Because I can't quite believe what you do here, because it doesn't look like...
Right. Well, in a nutshell, I make things out of recycled cardboard and other recycled material like sawdust, brick dust, coffee grinds.
I didn't mean to sound rude when I was like, "Oh, it doesn't look like." What I mean is, when you say you make things out of recycled cardboard, he doesn't take a cardboard and cut a square out of it and call it a TV. You make some of the most amazing objects that don't even look like they're made out of cardboard. I've just been looking at your artwork now, and you make like vases and big square blocks, and it's amazing what you do. But when did you find out you could do this?
Did I find out when I could do it? It's an idea that I've had for a while. I've always been interested in the concept of recycling waste material. And cardboard and paper are materials that are very easy to work, say easier than wood, for instance, for cutting up. And we all know kind of papier-mâché, and I started doing some experiments with cardboard version of papier-mâché. Trouble is with that, it took an absolute age to dry, even in the summer.
Really?
And by the time it dried, it started to go mouldy. So, so I've kind of developed a technique of grinding up cardboard into a sort of powder and mixing that with neat PVA adhesive, which makes a kind of coarse clay, which sets incredibly hard once it's dry.
It does, and this is what's throwing me off, isn't it? Because I've taken some pictures of these things. I'm going to get them up on our social media. And are these things that are around me made with different methods then?
They have different... I mean, the two that you're looking at now that are sort of architecture, tower-inspired pieces, they're simply layers upon layers of cardboard that are then cut to shape with a saw, and the gaps between the texture of the cardboard is filled in with various material and PVA. The smaller one is PVA and sand, and the larger one is just PVA and ground up cardboard.
They look stone. They look like
Yeah, I mean, this is. With those. That's what I like about layers of cardboard, because they quite reminiscent of layers of rock
and bricks and
yeah.
So you say you've been at Participate for 3 years. How long have you been doing this for? How long did it take you?
No. I started doing this when I came here.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
There was a small amount of experimentation before, but Participate sort of allowed me to do larger scale work.
Talk about large scale thing. You're making like a monstrous thing at the moment. Say monstrous. I meant monstrous in size. It's actually really cool. It's like a pyramid, right?
It's a slightly more complicated version of the architecture themed pieces that I've already done. People have said it's a bit like an Aztec temple, so I think there is a bit of that kind of in the back of my mind, with the construction shape and technique.
Where do you get your inspiration from to make things like this? Do you see something on a movie and go, I want to make that one day?
Well, I liked ceramics. I've always been, a lot of the work here is inspired by ceramic work. And architecture. A lot of things that I see a kind of connection with the stuff I'm doing now are kind of prehistory buildings, sort of Neolithic buildings and kind of cairns you see in the Highlands, and I think they're called brocks. I think they're Iron Age forts in Scotland.
Yeah.
They're all sort of very rough, dry stone constructions.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really good. I'll tell you what you'd make really well, and this is just the geek coming out of me now, is the ship in Alien. The big giant ship. Yeah, because I'm looking at your sphere, like the round vase things there, and the way it comes out, a lot of them look like the same sort of texture as that ship. I think you'd make an amazing version of that. I think it'd be really good. So in your 3 years here, you've made lots of work, and have you sold quite a bit?
I've sold a couple of pieces.
Is that a rude question to ask, by the way?
No.
How much money have you made? That's not what I'm asking.
No, that's a stupid question, not a rude question. No, I've sold a couple of pieces, but to be honest, I'm not really looking to sell the pieces that I'm doing at this moment, because it's fairly recent work. I'm trying to build up a collection of work to be able to exhibit. So if I sell something the minute I make it, I'll have nothing. I'll have nothing to put a show on with. So I think I'm getting to a point now where I've probably got enough pieces to call a collection of pieces to put on a show for my devoted to my stuff. But
is this how unique is this? Because I've never seen this before. Do people do this around the world?
I don't know. I mean, I'm aware of a few cardboard sculptors who use cardboard, and I kind of follow some of them on social media, and I'm aware of their work.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of anyone that actually kind of grinds the stuff up to make a kind of paste. I think the thing is with any material, if you're using a specific material, your stuff's going to be not that dissimilar to someone else who's using a similar material. But people have said, "Oh, I've never seen anything like this."
It really is something. I don't think you could make a vase out of cardboard. You think of cardboard, you think of a weak material that when it gets wet, it kind of just and
well, that's it's the kryptonite of this material. Is it won't stand getting wet. You could drop it on the floor. Look, I don't know. I've dropped plenty of pieces on this concrete floor, and it just bounces.
So as soon as you put flowers in those vases?
Plastic or artificial dried flowers, I think.
Yeah. But they're fantastic pieces, and I hope this goes really well for you, because I'm quite blown away, because you see vases like this in a normal kind of arts and crafts store or something. You'd be like, oh, okay, that's really cool. But to know that they're made out of cardboard, that's really cool. I've never seen it before in my life. What's the goal here then with your exhibition? How many more pieces you've got to go before you can go, look at what I've done?
A couple more, I think.
Yeah.
I want to do. I've got several in mind, and they're getting bigger, basically. And once I get to something that's about 3 foot tall, I think I can then say I'm making large sculpture.
Make that ship out of Alien. People love it. We're here today as part of the Shrewsbury Open Studios. Did this excite you? This idea of people coming around watching your work?
Oh yes.
Is this what normally happens?
No. I mean, the space that we're in now is normally just an exhibition space, and where all the studio artists are kind of tucked away behind protective barriers up at the back there, beavering away, doing their own little thing. So here I am in the window, having people staring in at me, cutting up bits of cardboard and answering their questions.
It's nice, though. I mean, you've had a lot. Obviously, I've seen a few people come and chat to you. It must be nice having people take interest in your work.
Well, it's interesting to get feedback as to which pieces they see and they particularly like. There's one piece in particular that everyone seems to point out that they like, and I think it's because it looks organic, and maybe it's a very textural piece, and people maybe respond to the sort of texture of it, which is that one over there.
This one here,
the one that's a bit like something that might get washed up,
like driftwood. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It is really cool. And it's corrugated cardboard. Is that right?
No, it's just the edges of cardboard just stuck together.
It's very, very skillful. And that's the beauty of what we're doing today, is that people get to see your process. Because you could say, I could say that's made out of cardboard, and people are like, nah, no, it's not. Don't be silly. That's not made out of cardboard. But yet there you are in the window, making this huge Aztec temple out of cardboard.
Well, I've also got some little containers showing the various bits of dust and brick dust and stuff that they can have a look at to see what it is that gets mixed in with the work.
Well, without further ado, I'm not going to leave you away from your work for too long. Thank you very much for chatting to me. This has been really,
You're welcome.
really insightful. And how long do you reckon it'll take to finish this Aztec thing?
Couple of years. I don't know.
You got no deadline?
I haven't got a deadline, no. And I kind of work on several things at once. So once I get a bit bored of working on one thing, I start something else or carry on something else.
Are you on social media? Can people follow your art on any sort of social media?
Yes. Well, I have a website. And I'm on Participate's brand new website, which is participateart.org.
Well, thank you so much for sitting with me. And if you feel like anything else you want to chat to me about at the while I'm here, just drop on by.
Well, yes, I certainly will.
Have you got anything to add about the listeners? Or you've got anything to plug?
Well, I have actually.
Yeah.
Any artists or creative people out there, or photographers, or I'm arranging or running an international artist postcard exhibition.
I saw this.
Now we have just sent out adverts and mailers for entries, and if you would like me to read out some details.
Yeah.
It's the International Postcard Exhibition here at Participate. It's going to be an exhibition of artists' original postcards. Now, these is a call for entries. We're asking for artwork that is postcard size, A6, which is 10.5 centimetres by...
Is that?
Yeah, by 14.8 centimetres. The entry deadline is the 19th of July, and the exhibition itself is August the 2nd to the 24th. We're having a private view on August the 2nd at 5:30. If anyone wants to come down and see what...
So what can we do to these postcards then to make them snazzy?
Anything you want. The subject's completely open. They can be landscape or portrait format. The subject is up to whatever artist wants to put on. There's also an opportunity for people to put their postcards up for sale.
Okay.
Or, if they want, have them swapped with another artist from, well, presumably from anywhere around in the world.
Okay. See, I've got postcards everywhere around my house, but I can't draw. I'm terrible. My artist, chatting away in front of a microphone. But I might try and do something.
It could be absolutely anything. Collage.
Yeah.
Photograph.
What about poetry?
Yes.
Would that do? I mean, because has it got to be?
No. That's art.
Because I've seen there's a lot of artwork actually that do a lot of visual artwork and with writing in the background. Things like, yeah. Well, it's really inspiring to get people to do that.
Absolutely anything as long as it's A6 inside.
I will push this because I want to see what people can come up with. I tell you what we'll do. I'm going to drop my team in it. I'm going to make each one of Team Biscuit do a postcard, and we will bring them in.
All postcards will be exhibited.
Yeah.
Provided that they're fit to be exhibited. They're not obscene or anything. And,
okay.
But they'll all go on show, and if they'll all be for sale if the artist wants them to be.
Yeah.
And all swapped if the artist wants that also.
Okay, brilliant. Well, that's a really cool event, and I think you got the backing of Team Biscuit. We'll get a cards made. I don't know why I can't talk today at the moment. Not enough caffeine, I think that's what it is. We were just talking about how I woke up this morning, rolled out of bed, jumped in the shower and just had no caffeine, which is very unheard of for me. So
I normally don't come into the studio here until about lunchtime.
No.
Coming in at 10 o'clock.
That could be what it is, actually. Lunchtime's calling. Oh, that's what it is. Thank you very much for chatting with me.
You're welcome.
You've been great to chat to. And, I hope your exhibit, grows as much as you want it to.
Slowly.
Right.
Yeah.
Take your time, man. You're doing a good thing.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Cheers. So, hello and welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me. It's been a crazy day for you, I imagine. We're here for the Shrewsbury Open Studios today. Can you tell us what's going on today? Why are we doing this?
Well, I'm actually from Raven Studios, which is just around the corner, part of the Riverside complex as well. We've just set up in an old office block there to create more studio space, because what Participate does is amazing. Shrewsbury doesn't have enough studio space as it is, or space for creative people to do their work that is affordable. So we've made another small unit. We've got space for wellbeing activities as well, so small room for yoga and other types of things that go on there.
That's fantastic. So what's going on there today? And so there's yoga. What else is going on?
Well, it's not yoga today. That's one of the things that we can use one of the rooms for. We've just got a couple of us up there working, so anyone can drop in, come and have a cup of tea, coffee. There might be some flapjacks on the go. We've got there's two of us there today. I'm a poet and artist, and Jancis is a printmaker and painter. Wow. So we're just sort of going about our work there today, and then chatting to visitors, saying hi. And then we've got people who aren't around this weekend. They might be in at some point. And we've got an eco-architect, a illustrator, another printmaker, and a musician. And someone's just joined us. She's an artist who paints Catholic iconography, so really beautiful, sort of little delicate gold leaf.
Wow.
And really, really fine, intricate work. So she's just joined us as well, so you can see all their work on display. We've got cards and prints for sale. We've got a little bit of indie bookshop going with our sort of self-published booklets and poetry pamphlets and things you can buy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you're not there, what do you get? Do you get to share your poetry around town a lot? Do you get to?
Yeah, there's different sorts of readings, poetry nights around. There's the Shrewsbury Poetry Night first Thursday of every month. There's nights in Wrexham as well, occasional ones in Oswestry. So like that way, I'd like to start getting out to some in Birmingham and Manchester and the bigger cities as well.
Yeah, because there's that girl from Wrexham that's just blown up, isn't she?
Evra Rose.
Yeah,
she's fantastic. Yeah.
I had Tim Dawes on the show.
We like him.
Yeah, he's great. Well, he's actually brilliant. I love the guy, and I've spent quite a bit of time with him. He's come on the podcast a couple of times, and he's brilliant.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, he's really atmospheric.
Yeah. I remember he invited me around his house for a poetry event once, and I walked around, and I was really nervous, the Shrewsbury Biscuit, it's brand new, and he was so welcoming, and the people as well, the poets that were there. I really enjoyed it. I drank wine and listened to poetry, and something I'd never done before, and I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and it's sort of his way in Wrexham, where there's a bit more of a sort of, I think, spoken word, maybe more experimental sort of scene going on. So it'd be nice to start mixing that with the existing community in Shrewsbury and joining the docs creatively as well between here and North Wales, so sort of networking.
And that's good because poetry is communication, and communication is really important, right? And especially that she's so passionate, that girl. I've seen a few of her Facebook videos, and she blows me away. I think she's great.
Me too.
Yeah, and so the message we're trying to get out with the Shrewsbury Open Studios, is that to inspire, or just to show people what artists are around us? Or do you think it's both?
I think it's so people can get an insight into where people work and the way people work. And sort of doing things like an open studio would be kind of a standard sort of regular thing you would do if you had a studio space in the city. And I think the open studio in Shrewsbury has started was it about 3 or 4 years ago? I'm not sure of that exactly how long it's been, but it's quite new. I think that sort of culture for Shrewsbury of studio space, creative space, like what Participate are doing, what we're doing with Raven Studios, and getting people to occupy empty space as well, and help them realise the potential of that as well. I think we could start a bit of a movement there.
Where do you think the potential lies? Do you think it's with like the youth, or for everybody? Because it's really important to get people starting this young. Do you think, or do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at sort of working with young people. We've got a young people summer school on at Raven Studios in August for people to come and kind of explore their creativity, try out some different art forms. But as art is sort of more and more squeezed in school, it is important for people to be able to try things out, I think, and things like sort of art and poetry are a really nice
don't stand
way
on the street corners, kids. Let's get you in here. Let's do something.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just sort of worked with some kids who have been excluded from school in Wolverhampton the last few weeks with another artist called Jamila Walker, and that was really great. We got them to do poetry and photography and think about their environment, and actually find ways through creativity of being sort of less apathetic and being able to express their voice more, which a lot of young people, I think, maybe think that people don't want to hear, but that they do.
Yeah. I've known some of the most angry, downtrodden on people to be some of the most amazing writers. I've seen it a few times. Textbooks just absolutely reams full of just poetry and just writing. They've got all these feelings inside, and just sit down and write it. What's your process with writing poetry? Does it come to you just?
It's pretty sporadic, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those like really disciplined writers who sits down every day and makes himself write. Although it would be a good thing to try, I think. Make some space to do that now that we've got the studio space and it's set up. Really start to use it properly. I write from images sometimes. Like I will see an image I like and it will speak to me, and I'll write something in response to that. I wrote a lot of themed poetry about water, because my pamphlet that's just come out is called Body of Water, so it's kind of about physical experience and water being one of our most precious resources. So I just found myself writing a lot of poems with that theme, and then I'll draw them together. But I'm not a disciplined artist or writer.
I can imagine it being the easiest thing to do. Okay, brain, go.
Yeah, I think it's different for different types of people.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Do during today? Have you had many interesting people come in? Have you had anybody come in and you kind of been shocked by maybe?
I've had a mix really, a mix of sort of people just art interested, and then a couple of sort of artists, practicing artists. Last weekend we had quite a good mix of people. I think the people who pick up the Shrewsbury Open Studios leaflets are tuned in already.
Yeah.
I don't think we're reaching quite enough people to say that there's these creative spaces you can go and look round. It's not part
There's
of
a guy outside with there's a butcher's there, and he keeps getting a megaphone and talking about the meat. I think I need
the
to
meat
grab...
chat man.
Yeah. I feel like I need to steal his megaphone and be like, there's art! There's a guy building buildings out of cardboard and a lady making prints of birds.
They are very good at self-promotion, the meat shack. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, getting creative space into Shrewsbury's cultural mindset, I think, is a really good thing that could happen over the next few years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, schools are losing funding, mental health losing funding. I feel like when you're feeling a bit down and a bit depressed, pick up a pen, pick up some, put your mind somewhere else.
Exactly, and that's what's great about this kind of space is that you can come and do that with other people rather than you in your bedroom or wherever, or at your desk, which is nice to get a bit of social.
And it's also great as well because I remember the last time I was here, I think Becky Riddick, I think she was like my third interview for the Biscuit. That was back in October or something. And they were talking about this places and it wasn't looking great. Funding they were losing, and they were going to knock this building down. They were looking for somewhere else to move to, but you've expanded somewhere new. And not only that, they got the new centre, the old TJ Hughes's, the environmental.
Yeah, that's just opened up. Yeah, and it's great because we. By occupying spaces like this, we save the owner, i.e. the council or somebody else, money, because if it's empty, they have to pay business rates on it anyway.
Oh, okay.
So if they let artists use it or creatives or someone else, then they don't have to pay those rates.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is obviously a winner for anyone who owns.
Is podcasting classed as
space.
art? I don't know. Maybe we can be like, I want a studio. Give me a studio.
Absolutely, get a sound studio set up. That would be fab.
I'd love to. We do have an
Yeah.
idea of kind of... We can have a partner up with a business or create our own business where we can channel the podcast through the business and the business through the podcast. That's my end goal. But we're still young. We've only been going for like 6-7 months now, so hopefully. Well, thank you for sitting and talking to me.
That's all right. It was really nice. Thank you.
And hopefully we get to do something again because I love chatting to you guys. Creators and people that think and do, and I'm fascinated with. When we do these little snippet interviews, I don't feel like I get enough time to kind of find out what goes on up there. But thank you for joining me. I hope you've had a great day, and I hope you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you too.
Thank you. Cheers.